What's up, my people? Welcome back to Airsoft Special Ops. And we're back for another review video. I've got some bad boy stuff for you guys. I've been promising some more Vorsk reviews, especially since we done our Vorsk review on the EU18 from Vorsk custom version with the vented slide and the zombie sight. Yeah, obviously you can see I've made some adjustments. I think I will forever be making adjustments to this gun because it's my first gun since I come back to Airsoft, as well as my favorite gun, and I just think it's a beautiful gun, especially for the price. There's so much things I've come across in Airsoft where like the price is so high for the thing, but often the price isn't necessarily always justified by the results that you get from the weaponry or from the attachment or whatnot. Whereas I feel like Vorsk have been able to do well for me, because I've got the Raven EU18 and I'm deciding currently to sell my EU18 from Raven, just because I just feel like it's not as consistent as one of these are, which is quite interesting because that's the more expensive gun, and at first I thought it was, but in hot weather out at Splatoon the other day, I used them both, and I just noticed that the shot accuracy on the Raven is better, I will agree, but the consistency for me is what I need, because if I'm aiming and my hand doesn't move, I need to know that by the time I slap the trigger again, it's going roughly where the last shot went, because I haven't moved, or if I have moved, it's only slight. Whereas I just felt like that the Raven, every time I shot, even without movement, it's like it would just be flying off, doing the most. And yeah, I can keep adjusting the hop up, but it gets to a stage where it's like you just have to accept that this gun has a problem. You either have to spend lots of money upgrading it, or just go and focus on something that you actually enjoy, which I do enjoy. The EU18 on this, and I'm telling you, it does this thing. I don't know if I can stay in focus and shoot the one for you and just show you, like, it's just a beautiful gun. Need to try and aim at my target. Luckily I did make my target, but you see, it's just a beautiful gun. But yeah, so that's that. Today we're gonna focus on the Vorsk VPX. I basically was on the field. I think you'll see it in content the other day. I was on the field with one of my guys, and he showed me his high kappa conversion. I believe it's from the same company, Vorsk, and I'm telling you, the gun was just so beautiful. The slide, the way it would slide back, the blowback was beautiful. The accuracy, that's one thing I found very interesting. It was almost like having sniper accuracy on a pistol, which I just found mind-blowing for me, because pistols don't tend to be very consistent unless they're mad customed, like the Novorich or something like that. So when I saw his, I was like, do you know what? Maybe I need to go and try and get myself something like a high kappa style thing. And what I found was, this is basically a 1911 custom with high kappa bits. Like, for example, the back beaver tail safety, for example, it gives it like a high kappa style look. But if you notice, the majority of the gun is actually a 1911. And you know me, I love custom. Just like this bad boy I bought custom, I had to look into another one. So, and then also I went for an extended mag with it, because you know me, I like a pistol. So if I can get more capacity out of it, amazing. So yeah, let's get into this. Like, I think and I'll actually take off my gloves for this one, because I feel like it's good sometimes to touch things with your hand. You can actually feel physically how something feels, so you can give the users and viewers some feedback. And positive, not just positive feedback, but realistic feedback. So I've already broken seals, like you can see. This feels top quality, very similar to, so funny, it feels like almost identical. Well, maybe not identical, because I don't feel like the EU18's wrap thing was this top quality. I feel like this is slightly better, but maybe it's because this is a later pistol and they've started using better material. So that's also something else to keep in mind. But so far so good. Packaging coming across very like high quality, or at least premium level. Do you know what I'm saying? So you feel like you what you bought is worth what you've paid for it. Initially, the box is very similar to the EU18. It's glossed again, I feel like it's very close to the Vorsk EU18's box, but I just feel like, I don't know, maybe it's the company where this is a slightly, because for example, this pistol I know is at least 2-3 years old. No, at least a year and a half old. More closer to maybe 2 years old. So the supplier would have had to buy it. Who I bought this from would have had to buy it from a supplier, and it would have been sitting there for some time period, which means that even the materials, the box and these things that they would have made may have changed over time. I can just feel that it's ever so slight, but I focus on the little details, man. Those are the little things that stand out to me. Like, it just feels like slightly higher quality than the last one. But again, like I said, I believe it's a later edition. If you're on the clock, like this gun, if I'm correct, is only like maybe about 8-9 months old, if I'm correct. Or this, because there's lots of different versions to it. That there's a VP9. I looked at it earlier, man. There's like there's something called a VX. There's something called a Tactical Defender. Like, there's a few of them. So I believe this is one of the latest mods, if you want to call it that. We'll call it that. Similar to the other box, you have like some kind of booklet, which again tells you the do's and don'ts, tells you how to cock, how to relieve your slide, which I actually need because I believe the slide removal is a bit different on this gun. Obviously, it advises you don't put the gun upside down and try and shoot. Come on, common sense. That's not how gas blowback guns work. Maybe a real gun, but not gas blowbacks. And then obviously how to load your mag, etc., which is useful for noobs. I'm telling you, so useful. Then it obviously has a parts list, which again I just think is always cool. Some may say, oh, you're so excited about silly little things, but for me, these are the things that stand out and count. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I'd like something like this would remove anxiety, because it means that I know that from I open this, if anything breaks, I can always track back the part number. And Vorsk are pretty good because they supply the goods quite easier and quite to quite a few not manufacturers, but to quite a few suppliers, as well as custom parts, and most other parts will work. So say I buy a TM 1911, it's likely the parts will fit in this. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? Big up Vorsk for that. They did send a patch, but I think what I'll have to do at the end of this video, I'll show you my helmet and show you, because I've already put it on my helmet. What comes in here? So I believe the patch was right here. There's some kind of mag key thing that came also. I don't know where that is. I'll probably have to have a word with the guy who I bought this from, the supplier. I bought it brand new, so I should have that. You obviously have a mag. I believe this holds 22 rounds, which is quite interesting, because compared to a Glock mag, obviously this is a custom Vorsk one, so they won't averagely have this big bit, but look at the size difference. Like, that's quite a big difference. And even weight wise, this is a lot heavier, but I will say for the size, this is quite heavy as well. Like, they're not too far off in weight, and if you notice, their size wise, they are far off in size, so that's very interesting. Let me see if I can show you differences. So things I can just see straight off the top that are different is obviously the thickness. Obviously this one, the 1911 one, doesn't have the bullet numbering along the back, neither the clips. It also doesn't have, I don't even think this is my mag, you know. I think I may have mixed up my mag with one of my boys, because it looks a bit different from my original. But yeah, the chamber back looks slightly different, but fairly the same in terms of the system that they use for the gas release. You can press and it will release. Even how the BBs are stacked and loaded, for example, very similar setup. Even roughly, like, this chamber is a bit bigger. The nozzle, I guess that's for better consumption of the gas, the green gas. The bottom, again, this is a custom Vorsk one, so it's not all of them are gonna be the same, but you can see similar kind of thing. You've got like a plus sign screw, then you've got a fill nozzle. This nozzle is considerably smaller though. I don't know if you guys can see that. So yeah, so far so good. I believe this mag holds 22, because I like to watch my reviews, see what's out there before I do reviews, so I know what to touch on. Yeah, I kind of ripped the packaging. I was a bit heavy-handed earlier, but yeah, so far so it feels really good. I'm not gonna lie to you, like, this feels like quite a good high quality metal, not plastic, metal. I believe there is plastic on it, like for example the base plate, I believe that's plastic because there's no weight on that. But the mag itself, and that's one thing I kind of like with Vorsk. I understand, like, you because the gun don't cost a lot. Obviously, you can't use the highest grade stuff, similar to the EU18. Like, you can't use the highest grade stuff. I've said this in my EU18 Vorsk review. Like, check it. I get it. That's why it's slightly lighter and the top slide feels a bit funny and just certain things like that. But you see, you've built a very good gun for that price. Do you kind of get what I'm trying to say? Whereas I feel like some people, they're selling us expensive guns and they're not actually that great. Like, I don't want to call out no company names right now, but they're really not that great. I've got an Allen key for something. I'm still trying to work out what this is for. So if any of you guys actually know, let me know. Maybe it might be for my spring on the inside. So we'll keep that there. And then we're gonna move over. Like I said, bear with me, man. Hay fever. To the pistol. Straight initials, I will say, similar to the Vorsk EU18. It's a bit lighter than I expected because I've owned the 1911 before, and it was a full metal frame. It wasn't a blowback though, and it was yellow, imagine, of all colors. However, the thing was so fucking powerful, pardon my French, it was so powerful. The thing used to shoot close to 400 FPS, and this was just a full standard metal thing. There was nothing great about it. It was even solid. You couldn't take off the side panels, and if you did, you would just see metal, full metal frame. So it was quite interesting, and it was quite a cheap build as well. So I found that interesting, but I will say it is quite light. But maybe that would change once the mag's inside. It was lighter than I expected, I will say. Even with the mag in there, there's obviously a little more weight. I feel like now the gun's a bit more balanced at the back, because at first with the mag out, it just feels like the gun could fall forwards out your hand if you're not holding it properly. But once the mag's inside, yeah, I feel like, obviously if say I lean it on my finger, you'll see what I'm saying. It's like it will drop to one side, so it clearly is doing what it needs to do, which is balance out the gun's weight. So that's quite good. Straight off top, what can I see? So obviously you can see it's a black on silver design, similar to this one, which that's what I go for. They do other ones like black on gold. I saw one black on blue, many different colors. Straight off the top, what can I see? Obviously you've got your mag release, so you literally press that and it drops out. One thing I will say about the mag release, and maybe this is just because I'm such a Glock user, with the Glock I feel like I don't have to move a lot. Like, the mag release is right there. I can just move my finger around and tap it and it drops. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? So if say I'm chilling, I don't have to do nothing or stretch. It's literally right there. I can just tap it and it's out. I feel like with this one, and it might just be the build of the gun, I feel like I have to stretch my thumb round a little bit for me to actually be able to mag release, but it is still doable. You find that you end up pressing your back beaver back tail safety though while doing it, because if you notice, it's like I can't quite reach round without pressing the back, if you get what I mean, which is perfectly fine, because I guess it's wise to know how your gun works and get a feel for it. But I will say that, like, it would have been nice if my safety was maybe here, because then I'm not stretching. But it's alright, it's not too much, you know what I'm saying, and it slides out pretty easy. Oh, that sounds beautiful. Yeah, man. Obviously you can hear it's not the most solid gun, because like I said, I've had another one and it did sound a bit more realistic, that mag slide in there. But for the price, how can you complain? And it's actually a good little build. What can I see straight off top? Obviously they have safeties. 1911s tend to have safeties. Not all of them safety operate like this, because this is a high kappa style safety. So I said I found this gun quite cool, because it was like a custom build between a 1911 and a high kappa. It was a mixture, and it was actually my guy, big up Danny Lee, for showing me his gun, which is a high kappa version of this, that gave me the idea, like, why don't I go for something like that? Because the kick on it is so beautiful, which I'll show you soon. So yeah, the safety is right there. You literally just want to slide it. So you see how I've dropped it, just want to slide it up, it will lock into that top system right up there. And then obviously I can't, if you notice, I can't pull back my slide no matter. Oh, now I can. Oh, it's because I took it off safety quick with my other hand. So I'll show you now. It's in there. You have to make sure it's actually in that slot, because I didn't put it all the way into that slot. and once it's in that slot up there and locked, if you notice, I can't, no matter how much I do that, I can't pull it off. Even if I tap the safety, so say I'm holding down the safety like that, I still can't pull the slide, and it's because it's actually on safety now. If you remove safety, if you notice, it's moved out that gap. So safety on, safety off. You do also have other safeties, for example, like the beaver trigger safety, beaver tail safety, sorry. So as long as you're not pressing this, you won't be able to fire the trigger. If you notice, it's locked. Whereas if I press it down, oh, the safety is on, and I have it. Yeah, so once that's pressed, I'm able to fire it. Do you know what I'm saying? And don't worry, it's not actually loaded with any BBs, so I'm alright. But it does have green gas in there. I've chose to use WE's 2x2, just so you guys understand how to get the results you're seeing in this video. Yeah, so that's that. Like I said, it won't fire if I'm not tapping that beaver tail safety. If it's not tapped, I can't press that trigger, so it will lock itself up. So you have the first lock-in system, and then you have the second lock-in system, which is the beaver tail. Yeah, which I think is so cool, because sometimes you can forget that your gun isn't actually on safety, and for me it's like I might be holding it at this. Unless I tap that, I can't fire it. Look, can't do it. It's quite locked, and it's quite firm as well, which is quite cool. So safety on, safety off, and then once your safety is off, so let me show you that. So once your safety is off, so we're going to turn that down, I now have the ability to cock the gun, and it will lock because there's no BBs in my mag, which is pretty cool. That's another function, because not every gun does that. Not every handgun locks when the mag is finished. And then obviously to release, you have your release button, which that makes a beautiful noise. I like that sound. Sounds good on this gun. Which is also what lets you know, even though it's not the most highest quality metal or alloy or whatever, it still is a good version of it. As long as you look after the gun will look after you. It's a lovely little sound. You do have your, like I said, your beaver tail hammer as well, if I'm correct, I think it's called. So I'll hold down the beaver tail safety, and if you notice, my hammer will go off. I can also pull the hammer manually and let go, which is pretty cool, because even though I've pulled this, my trigger won't go off, but I'm loaded and ready to go. It's cocked. I have to still tap my beaver safety, and then it will go off, which I just think, for me, it just makes the gun cool. Like